Well, I'll tell you what, Kai, it's kind of strange. There's Susan.
Hi, guys.
It's strange.
Hello. Oh, there's
There
everybody.
you are.
Much better.
Oh, I see you.
That's great.
Michael, we're good to go.
Yep, we're good to go. I'm recording, so
Good.
yeah.
Put Malcolm back up there.
I think he's got it. Yeah. So whoever's talking.
There he is. Okay.
whoever's
Whatever you
talking
did, that was
should
good.
show up.
Mhm.
Are we ready?
Yes, we're ready.
Put Malcolm. Wait a minute, I can't see Malcolm now.
That's because I'm not talking.
All right. Oh, I got it. All
I
right.
have to talk all the time, and then it'll show up.
Welcome all you Hunyuans and Hunyuettes and people who love Tai Chi and Chen style and who are good friends and good people. We have a very special event tonight. We're going to talk to the big guy. You know who I'm talking about, Malcolm Big Guy Dean. He has studied with Zhang since 1991. He may have been studying longer than anybody. 1991. I studied 1990.
Longer than me.
Huh?
Not longer than me.
Oh, when did you start?
Raymond was there first. So was Cheryl.
I was there when I
George.
was studying with what's his name, George,
Yeah.
before Zhang started teaching. So I was
Oh,
there
I
when
wanna-
Zhang started.
Well, let's backtrack after this. I want to get some of your impressions because we want to ask people their stories too. But now, with that correction, thank you, Brother Raymond. We can certainly say that Malcolm has done as much as anybody to help promote and continue the Zhang lineage. And not just with Master Zhang, but with Master Feng and with his daughter and Chen Qian. And he's brought us all together. I mean, at his school in San Francisco, Michael Scher was teaching, Michael Dorgan was teaching. Who else, Mike?
And Jared is teaching, so yeah.
Garrett,
Yeah, Jared. Linda came and taught for a while.
Linda.
Linda Brown.
It was such a wonderful, eclectic group of people, the top level people, and they had classes in everything, and beginner, advanced, and we're going to get into that more because Malcolm is still teaching online, just the way Mike is, and we want people to know about that. So I'm really excited to talk to Malcolm. I want to talk to him about his reminiscences, his recollections, but I also want to talk to him about certain issues that we all share in common. Standing is going to be one. The difference between Chen Qian and Feng and Zhang, all of that stuff. So let's begin. Did I get that right, Malcolm? You first studied with Master Zhang in 1991.
91 or early 92. I can't remember
92?
that far.
And where was he teaching then?
He was teaching in Golden Gate Park. It was the first time I saw him was in Golden Gate Park.
Freckles Lake.
He did his private lessons up at Sutro Heights Park, but the public class was in the music concourse.
Raymond, you're talking about the body of water that was in the Treasures of China tapes where Master Zhang was doing the early Chanza Chen. And
Right.
I think George wrote them.
What is the name of that lake?
Freckles Lake.
I know what you mean.
What was it, Raymond?
Freckles.
Freckles Lake, yes, exactly.
Freckles.
No,
All right.
no, the classes were not there. They were on the music concourse. So I think he had just moved to the music concourse, but I didn't know.
Yeah.
that.
On my phone. I
Taught
could
at
barely
Freckles
hear
Lake
it.
for a while first.
And Malcolm, what was it like studying with him in the beginning? What was he teaching and what was it like studying with Master Zhang?
Well, the first 6 months, it was really interesting because, Zhang was like this. Zhang was like this with everybody, not just me. He was always polite. He would always say a few things, but basically for the first 6 months, I think he said good morning to me twice. And that was it. That was it. Because I think he wanted to know whether you were going to be serious about it or not.
Old school.
Invested any time in you. So when I started that class, they were in the middle of the 48. So I learned the second half of the 48, but I didn't know the first half very well at all. And I was just kind of bouncing around in the class for 6 months or so. And then one day after class, I was at the class was over pretty much. People, you know how they would stand around and practice and stuff. And I was standing on one side practicing a little bit, and all of a sudden I feel this iron grip on my wrist from behind, and I turn around and it's Master Zhang, and yeah, he like said hi to me twice, good morning, that was it. And he dragged me over to the side, and he spent about an hour with me, working on the first half of the form.
Wow.
And I guess he finally decided after about 6 months that I was going to stick with it. And
The 48 is a hard form to learn if that's the first form you're learning.
I think, I'm not sure if that was the first time they ever did the 48, but he did the 48 that time, and I think he may have done it once or twice more after that. And then he kind of dropped it. So for whatever reason, he seemed to feel the 48 was not that important.
So what would a typical class be like?
For Jean,
You're like those early classes with Master Zhang.
his early classes were, I mean, his class structure was the same from the beginning when I first started with him, clear to the end. He would always start with some warm-ups, and then we would do the 24 a couple of times. When we were doing the 48, then we do the 48, but he let that go and substituted the 83 and 71. I think he let go of the 48 and the 37 or whatever it was, the 36, just because there's just not enough time. Even though the classes were 3 hours long, you can only fit so much in. And we would always start a class with an hour of warm-ups of Qigong of some kind. And then we would do the 24.
Well, he wasn't teaching Qigong back in 1991, I don't think, was he?
Yes, as I remember, right from the beginning.
Yeah.
Now,
He would
on
alternate.
the other hand, it's possible that I'm not remembering well. Raymond, what do you remember?
He would alternate Qigong one day, spiral training the next day on Saturday and Sunday.
I thought that he started doing the Qigong a little bit later after Master Feng started introducing the Hunyuan.
My impression was right from the very beginning, just as Raymond said, we would do Chen Qigong on Saturday and we would do Hunyuan Qigong on Sunday. And that was like the rock that everything was built on.
And do you think it was more likely that people got more information in private classes than in group classes? I mean, his English was somewhat limited, and you guys had about at least 20 people in the class, right?
Yeah, we had about 20 or 25 fairly steady people, but there were another 10 or 15 who would kind of come and go. And then he had students around the country and even overseas.
So how many classes would you take a week?
When I started with him, we did 5 classes a week.
3 hours?
5 3-hour classes a week.
Wow.
And do you know what it cost? $40 a month. You remember that, Raymond? $40 a month, and we got 5 3-hour classes a week. Monday and Wednesday night, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday morning.
You couldn't talk him down? Did he do push hands early on?
Yeah, it got into a little more of a program later on, but yes, we did Qigong, and I just count silk reeling as part of Qigong. We never did a lot of meditation, but we always did Qigong, we always did form, we always did push hands, as far as I remember. In fact, Wednesday night was pretty much dedicated to push hands. We'd have an hour of warm-ups or whatever.
Malcolm, you do a lot of standing, right?
Standing meditation?
Yeah.
Not in the classes. We did it for sure, but it was more like he was teaching you, and then it's up to you if you want to do that.
Yeah. I never saw him do a lot of standing. And
What's that?
I don't think that was, I mean, I think 5 or 10 minutes of standing was pretty much all he required of students.
Yeah, he was really light on that, I think, just because even with 3-hour classes, you can still only do two so much.
Yeah.
And if you're spending 45 minutes in standing meditation, it's not that it's not worth it. Of course, you should be doing it, but I think he thought it was perhaps not the best use of the class time.
He also included you in his 83 tape and his bong, his short stick tape, right?
Oh yeah, and I don't think I've ever even seen those.
I haven't seen-
Really?
I've never seen them.
I'll tell you who probably have him is Uncle Kai.
Yes, you might. I think I've got copies of them here, but
What kept you going, Malcolm?
what's that?
What kept you going?
A couple of things. When I started with him, my attitude toward Tai Chi and Qigong was, I want to get this. I know there's something there, and I want to find somebody to work with who understands it. I did 4 years of Tai Chi, of Yang style Tai Chi with an American guy. And he was a nice guy, and he's going on to a real career. So, that was fun. That was nice. But I knew I wasn't getting the real thing. And when Andy and I moved down to San Francisco, I thought, okay, if it's going to be anywhere in the United States, it's either probably going to be New York City or San Francisco. So I'm going to look around for a teacher here and see what I can find. And this was before the internet. Well, the internet existed, but it was just things I think that people used in the universities. We didn't have the internet. I didn't even have any DVDs, so I didn't know who was around. And we started looking. It took about a year to find Master Zhang. And when the first second I saw him, I realized he knew what he was doing. You could see it in his body. This guy knows what he's doing, and I never changed that opinion in the 29 years that we have worked together. He knows what he's doing in his own way. And so I wanted to work with someone like that, and I wanted to go deep, and I knew that it would take 20 years to do that, particularly for me, because I was not a fast student. I was very slow to pick it up. I grew up in Justin. You grew up in St. Louis, right?
New York.
Oh, New York. Okay, so you moved to St. Louis later then. Well, I grew up in the Midwest, and you know how Midwestern people are.
Yeah.
They're not very body based when it comes to things like dancing or Tai Chi, right? And
They love that. They love that steak with fat on it.
Exactly, right? Yeah. It took a long time for me to learn what Zhang was doing. I knew one of the first times I went out and had a private lesson with him. It took me about a year to get him to do private lessons with me. When we were doing the first private lesson up in Sutro Heights Park, and so you're out in the park. Of course, there's no mirrors, and he was trying to teach me Buddha's Warrior. I think it was Buddha's Warrior or something. So there's all this stuff going on, but I'm standing behind him, so I can't see any of it. Right? I can't see what he's doing. And I realized then that it was almost like a little voice came and said, if you want to do this, you are going to have to be very patient.
Yeah.
You're going to have to be very patient with Master Zhang, and you're going to have to be very patient with yourself. Because this is going to be, he doesn't speak English, and you don't speak Chinese. So you're going to have to figure out how to communicate with each other. And it's, you're trying to get a body of knowledge. And this guy's got it, and you don't. But he can't just tell you.
I copy you.
How are you going to do that?
I copy you.
What's that?
I copy you.
Yeah.
He would say, I copy you, and he'd show you doing some ridiculous, not you, but me doing some ridiculous thing. You look like a clown. Then he would show you how to do it right and then make you do it again. But it was just like having instant feedback.
Master Zhang was very good at demonstrating. My impression, and now that I've been teaching for 10 years, I'm even more sure about this. His own Tai Chi, his own personal Tai Chi was much more advanced than what he showed us. What he showed us was his teaching Tai Chi. And that was
Advanced in and of itself.
it was stripped down to the essentials so that you could see what he was doing. And he had no ego about it in that way. There's no ego in his Tai Chi, which makes it wonderful to watch. Right? And when some of my students at the beginning of the 24, for instance, they always want a video to watch. So I give them that video of Zhang doing the first 5 movements of the 83. That's on YouTube. Because that's about as far as they really need a video. But so you watch that. And the thing they like about it is the thing I liked about it too, is very clear. He's not doing anything except the essential movement. And that makes it, I think, much easier for beginners to learn.
He was an incredibly advanced teacher. You know, I really feel that there are levels of learning in Tai Chi. First level is just learning the choreography. The second level is smoothing it out so it's flowing. The third level, you really see Peng Lu Ji on. And that's where I felt that it was very hard for him not to teach in that regard. The other thing was he would also help you with applications if you didn't mind rolling around on the ground. But his form really, this is why I feel like actually Master Zhang's form is not Feng Hunyuan in and of itself. There's so much China in it. I mean, even just Buddha Warrior, you know, we just think of it as a block and then an uppercut. You know, he would catch it, then he'd twist, and then he'd lift. People had no idea. Mike Sigmund, who I'm not the world's biggest fan of, did say that he thought that Zhang was the best teacher in the United States. And I agree with them 100%.
Yeah.
But I mean, he made breakthroughs. When you study with Zhang, you didn't just learn a form. He would make I remember when he pointed out about the kwa. You know, I was using my knees, and he said, no, you know, use the kwa, or chest open, chest closed. These were brilliant. These were certainly much higher level teaching than America had even been introduced to. He was just extraordinary. And then when he did teach you privately, he would zero in on exactly where you were at, regardless. He would always ask me, he said, what do you want? Oh, I want to do the double sword. And then he'd make this face. And I said, no, Master Zhang, first 5 movements. And they go, oh, gold, detail, gold. You know, if you could get those first 5 movements, you were well on your way to understanding what he was teaching.
Yeah. He used to say, if you could truly get the first movement of the form, you would understand all of Tai Chi.
I'm still thinking about it.
Yeah.
What other stories do you have of the good old early days?
Oh, geez. Well, you know, meeting him was kind of fun. I actually went with, I was, you know, been looking for a teacher in Chen style. I had done
Chen style was very new. As a matter of fact, you almost had to be from New York. I mean, New York or California to learn the Chen style correctly.
When I was up in Portland, I did Yang style, like I said, for 4 years. And that was just before China opened up, and there were rumors about Chen style. So Chen style was, that was the thing. Everybody was supposed to, the guys all wanted to do Chen style. But there were very few teachers around, if any, in the United States. And I thought when I got down to San
Hi.
Francisco, I would look and see who was doing Chen style. And, so I got down, I looked around a little bit. I really didn't find much that interested me. I actually went to one of George's classes once, an evening class in Golden Gate Park. And that was
You went to George's class before Zhang or after he started sandwiching?
yeah, before. And
If you look at those tapes,
Jean was not there, or if he was there, I don't remember seeing Jean, so I think this was before Jean. Anyway, they were doing some form, and I watched them a little bit, and then so that I didn't seem stupid, that I was just standing there watching them, I did a young style form, and there was this Chinese woman standing there.
People mute, please.
I suspect it's Kai's thing.
I think the moderator can mute as well too.
Okay, so there's Rudy. Okay, so just mute so you don't, yeah. Anyway, so there's this guy standing there watching us, and he was a nice looking guy, and he was just watching me for a while, and we sort of nodded at each other a little bit as I left, right? And it wasn't until years later when I saw his picture on the internet that I realized that was Meehan. Right?
wow.
I really like his videos. He's not with us anymore, but he was an incredible teacher. And,
Mahung is passed?
what's that?
Mahung is dead?
I believe so. Yeah, I think he
Wow, I
passed
didn't know.
away a year or two ago. Kai, turn your sound on. Kai, turn your sound on so we can hear you.
What breakthroughs did Master Zhang lead you to where all of a sudden your art reached another level or reached another sophistication?
That's a great question, Justin. There was one in particular that really changed my Tai Chi forever. And it's the simplest thing in the world. And in fact, he had told me the same thing at least 100 times before.
Relax.
But back in the day, John Ho and I
He talked about Ma Hong.
Yeah, Kai. Yeah.
Kai.
So Kai, we were saying I thought I had heard the news that he had passed away. Do you know?
Oh, Ma Hong passed away a few years ago. Yes,
Okay.
he died.
That's what I thought.
Or you can just type just in Chinese Ma Hong in YouTube, and then they tell you everything. Or in Google, and tell you when he died. Yeah. But Master Zhang mentioned Ma Hong is part of the reason is when Chen Zhaokui went to Chen Jiagou, on the way back, he always stopped by Ma Hong's place. Okay, that's why Chen Zhaokui talk about Ma Hong to Master Zhang. And Master Zhang's form basically is coming from Chen Zhaokui.
Yeah.
So because he learned from Chen Zhaokui a few years before he learned from Feng, 1956 to 59, something like that.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Malcolm. What were you saying about breakthrough?
What's that?
What were you saying about a breakthrough?
Oh, well, back in the day, John Ho and I used to fool around a lot doing push hands. And you know John.
Yeah.
John's,
The Tasmanian devil.
John's basic way of doing push hands, right, is you salute and then you attack as fast as you can and try to push the guy over.
Yeah.
And I would basically always fall for it. So then we would be standing there and we'd be we'd be wrestling and fighting, and it was just ridiculous. It wasn't Tai Chi at all. And Master Zhang would stand there, and he'd kind of look, and he'd just shake his head. And then he would finally say, in Chinese, he would say something, and I said, I asked one of the Chinese guys, well, what did he say? He said, you guys fight like cows. Like a couple of cows, right?
Yeah, he say 斗牛, bullfighting.
Bullfighting, exactly.
Yes.
Anyway, we were at his house once during that period, and how do I explain this? We were in his little studio in the garage there, and you know, we didn't have much language, but we got along okay. We were able to communicate, and basically he said, look, you do the same every time John attacks you, you do the same thing, right? You raise your chi, and because you raise your chi, he just knocks you over.
You're talking about when John Ho.
John is telling me this. Right?
Oh.
And he said, I'm going to be you and you be me. So now I push him and he goes, you're raising your chi. And he said, when John comes to push you, don't do that. Do this instead. Bring your chi down in your body. And this was long before he talked about Shuling Dingjing Chi Chen Danchen, right? So he had me do it. And he had told me this essentially in public classes many times before. But this time I went,
got it.
He's trying to tell me something, right? He's trying to tell me something. And I just tried that. And of course, it's the simplest foundation exercise in the world. But when, you know, he grabbed my arms and started pushing, and I just went like this, right? And yes, I got what he was saying, but I got a whole lot of other stuff too, if that makes any sense. When you have a breakthrough, the thing that you're talking about, whatever the issue is, that's important that you get that. But the reason it's a breakthrough is because there's a pressure behind that. There's a whole bunch of other stuff behind that, just like a chain of knowledge. And once you get that first thing, the whole chain comes with it, right? So it's like my body understood something for the first time. It wasn't just something in my head. My body understood it and understood the relationship from the ground, and it just happened like that. Because I think, Justin, you were just saying this, because he could see where you were and what you needed to do to go another step.
What you were ready for.
When you were ready for it. Now,
and what you needed. And what you needed.
Tell me for months, but it really, that to me was the biggest single breakthrough that I ever had. It was just startling. And it completely changed my Tai Chi. So for instance, Annie's listening in the other room, and she was listening anyway.
Hey, Annie.
Annie, are you there? She's there, so I guess she's just not on the screen.
Okay.
I'm here.
Hey, girl.
So Annie can testify to this, right? Annie, I think we were over at Richard's house one time, and I've been doing Tai Chi with Master Zhang for like 6 years. And I was out in the tennis court practicing one of the forms. And Annie watched, and then I went over to her, and we walked back to the house. And I said, well, what'd you think? How'd I do? And she said, oh, your form looks fine, but your feet aren't touching the ground.
Wow.
It's true.
I was not grounded. And I knew what she said was right. It was absolutely true.
Wow.
That's what it felt like. I felt like I was ungrounded. Well, this incident with Master Zhang that I just described happened a year or two
Ah.
after that. And that changed everything. It changed my relationship with the ground as well as with my own body. And
So the biggest sin is double weighting. The corollary is double floating.
yeah, double floating is right. And
What other breakthroughs did Master Zhang help you with? Because I think Tai Chi is not just doing a form. If you're not making breakthroughs, if you're not reaching higher levels, but the thing is, you don't, without a gifted teacher, you're only going to be as good as your gifted teacher to a certain extent. And not all teachers are willing to share. I don't think Zhang ever held back anything. I think he laid it out, but not all of us understood it when he was laying it out.
yeah, I think that's exactly right. He seemed more than willing to give you everything, but there's no point in, if you're working at this level,
Yeah.
there's no point in giving you something at this level because you're just not going to get it. So most of, I did private lessons with him either once and for years, twice a week for 12 years. And it was much more like building something brick by brick.
Yeah.
So it wasn't so much big breakthroughs. There were a couple, as it was just slowly building things.
Yeah.
And I can think of one. I'll tell you the story in a minute. But I remember the last thing he said to me in a class situation, and was your outsides, right? Your outside form, that's fine. Now you work on your insides. Work on the inside.
Who hasn't heard that 1,000 times?
So here, I'll tell you another little story. This was, in a way, it was kind of a breakthrough, but it's an interesting story anyway. We would do private lessons for years in Golden State Park at Mallard Lake.
I could. We're gonna do something with the printer. Would you like to help us? Assist us?
No, you're good. You're good.
Kill your audio. Kill your audio. Sean, kill your audio. Good. So we were sitting on this little grassy bank by Mallard Lake, and he said, "Let's do some seated meditations for a while." Right? And we were both of us just sitting there cross-legged, right, and with our hands resting on our knees. And we sat for a few minutes, and then he said, "Now I want you to do something. I want you," and I have an absolutely clear picture of this. He said, "I want you to put your hand behind my back where my Meehan is, and maybe 3 or 4 inches away from my body." So I put my hand back there, and he sat up really straight, right? So he's sitting there. He said, "Just feel that. Feel the air." Right? And then he said, "Now feel this. Watch what happens." And he relaxed, right? And all of a sudden, there was a wave of heat. It was very perceptible off his lumbar area into my hand. And what had happened, of course, is if you're in your Tanzhong, you closed the Meehan back there. You close this. If you relax, then you open it. And the heat was coming out because that acupuncture point opened and then the heat came out. And that's what he was trying to get me to understand, was that those 2 points are connected. That's your thoracic piston. We call it the thoracic piston in our class, right? So that was kind of an interesting, very perceptible demonstration of the Meehan, for instance. And it was a great way to do it. But most of his teaching was just brick by brick by brick. And to me, it was very traditional because the truth is you were not going to get what he was teaching unless you were willing to stick around for 15 years.
And practice.
Well, he wasn't teaching American style. American style is a little bit more like what I do. You synthesize everything. You produce a class or a chart or this or that. You make it easy for people, and then you feed it to them. And if you're lucky, maybe they stay with you 2 or 3 years and they get something, and then they go on about their business. Master Zhang never compromised like that.
Hi, everyone.
He was doing it the CRM. He was doing it the old way, which is, I'm going to tell you all this stuff, but I don't know when I'm going to tell you. I'm just going to do what I do day by day by day. And I'm not saying he didn't have any planning, because he did, but it was not linear planning exactly like you do in an American school.
Exactly. I feel the same.
It was much more holistic.
Yeah.
So there would be a little bit of this now and a little bit of that and a little bit of that and a little that and a little that and a little that. So if you wanted to get it, you had to be there. So Annie, how many classes did I go to? Annie, how many classes?
Yes, you were gone all the time, and then there were some days I thought you should go more. So
Yeah, Annie,
it must be time for you to go to class.
Isn't it time for you to go to class? So,
Well, you always came back in such a good mood. I was always like, okay, I'm looking forward to when he gets back.
I'm sure Michael could attest to this too, because Michael did a lot of work with Master Zhang kind of after I had gone on to other things. And, you know, if you want to get this, that's fine. He'll teach you, but boy, you got to put the time in. Yeah. And by time, I mean years of time, years and years and years of really intense time. And that is something that American students do not understand.
Exactly.
They just don't get it.
The another thing that I would like to mark on, like, I really that has the exact same experience. So for all those years, as a student, I try to jump ahead. I go to YouTube, I watch this master video, that master video, this applications, that fighting videos, right? And try to play with Markon, with all those other students to get Master Zhang's secret. And he told me, there's no secret. The day you have it, you're gonna have it, you know it. But if you don't have it, you just don't have it. And then I spent many, many years with him. He barely even actually teach me any application at all. He just said, first move. And
First
now,
section.
after Markon getting me into teaching, I start to open up. All the martial arts application, everything showed up. And then just exactly what he told me. He said, no, you don't worry about that. You just need to foundation, listening. He said, for the whole Tai Chi, listening is 80% of the game. If you can listen, you got everything right. If you cannot listen, doesn't matter how hard you try, you cannot just copy the trick.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's exactly right, Michael. It's the foundation. And I've been working with my students in the past couple of days. So we've been working with the Tai Chi walking stick. And this is just to give them something to do with their hands. But what we were doing with it is this.
Mm.
You know, it's just, what are we doing? You're working with your Dan Chen.
Ping Li Shu.
You know, it's just the small circles, the basic things. And for we can get into this later, but you know, the world is strange right now because we're having to do everything online, which means you can't do push hands, which I feel is the major loss with going online, is you can't do push hands anymore. I try to imitate it a little bit, you know, or work with Annie a little bit, but Annie hits me all the time, so it's dangerous. And
Michael, now
and
you've had,
it's about listening. When you got your hands on somebody, it's not that you're trying to control them, it's trying to listen to them. Right? You're listening to what's happening inside. And in order to do that, you have to be able to listen to yourself first. Right? Which is Hunyuan Shugon, right? What is happening inside? So, you know, Annie has been having a few health issues that she needs to deal with. And she was just saying this morning, because we've been sort of looking into different aspects of this, particularly the vagus nerve, right? So the vagus nerve coming down, and vagus nerve runs everything. And she said today, you know, wow, it's been really, really educational to watch these even medical videos on how I'm constructed inside. It's like we don't know ourselves. We don't pay any attention to ourselves. We just go and do stuff. And Tai Chi is about paying attention to yourself, especially as it has to do with energy and movement.
Michael, you had the opportunities to study with Feng when and I forget if he was teaching in 2007, but did you go to Finland by any chance in 2000?
Me or Malcolm? I did not. Yeah.
Right, I'm talking to Malcolm. Malcolm, you had a chance to study with Feng when he came in 2001.
Right.
And you've also had a chance to study with Chen Xian, am I right?
Yeah.
How would you describe the differences between their approaches? Not the same.
No, it's not the same. I didn't do that much work with Chen Xiang, a little bit. They're such different personalities that I would have had to work with him, with Chen Xiang, for a while to really sort of get that. Michael Dorgan worked a lot with Chen Xiang, as well as with Master Feng. And so that question might be better put to Michael Dorgan than to me. But Zhang seemed to me to be he seemed like an older China. He was an older generation, and it's not just his physical age; it was his cultural age. He seemed,
Last Dragon.
Yeah, he kind of was in a way. I mean, Chen Shan was a really formidable martial artist in many ways. But I never felt the depth with him. And I don't know whether that was because of just the individuals or whether it's a cultural thing, because cultures change so much. I mean, look at our culture, it's going through a big change right now. I like Chen Shan. I like his Tai Chi. It's not what I do. It's not what I want to do. I remember a story, and
in my opinion, my humble opinion, Chen Qian is doing something different from Feng. It's much more out there. But Feng is also, you know, I think he stopped teaching after a while. He reminds me of like a rubber tube that if you pick it up, you don't know what to do with it. Whereas Zhang is like the spokes of a bicycle wheel. If you have those spokes, then you have the whole wheel. I don't think that Feng went into great detail later in life about technicalities, whereas Zhang never, ever didn't require technical excellence.
Mm-hmm. I remember a particular time in Master Zhang's class. I had been there, I think, 7 or 8 years. And Master Zhang was teaching the class the wrist exercise out of Chen Sigong, right? So we were doing wrists. And still didn't speak very much English. He got a little more later on, but he didn't speak much. But he was getting very frustrated, which he usually didn't. He was usually very, very patient, but he was getting a little frustrated with us because basically we weren't doing it right. What were we not doing? We weren't doing Peng Lu Ji and An.
Right.
And finally, I don't remember if Michael was there or who was there. That was during Tony's, when Tony was working with John. Finally, apparently after the class, some of the Chinese guys talked with him and said, well, the American students don't know Peng Lu Ji and An. They don't know what you're talking about. So he came back the next day and we had a class in Peng Lu Ji An. All right, Peng, Lu, An, Ji. And that was the first time, and I've been there 7 years, that was the first time I had ever heard of it.
I don't think many people even today understand that every circle contains Peng Lu Ji An. But I've never seen a movement that Zhang did that didn't contain clearly definable Peng Lu Ji An.
That's one of the reasons he was such a good teacher, is he exemplified what he was teaching. And his own, I saw him a couple of times do Tai Chi his own way. And it was much fiercer. There was much more flow. It was much faster. That was his Tai Chi. Now, I'm not saying that he was always fast, but in those examples, he was.
Well, I asked Master Zhang if it was okay to teach beginners without going into that detail. And he said, yeah, for beginners, absolutely no problem. And I actually, there's a Japanese tape of Feng doing a scaled down 24 where he didn't have that lead in circle, mostly just for beginners. And, but if you wanted the real deal, you had to climb, you had to be in graduate school, not kindergarten.
Yes, absolutely. On the other hand, I'm teaching it in the first couple of weeks of teaching new students for a couple of reasons. One is we can't do push hands anymore. And if you can't do push hands, what are you going to do? You're just going to do the form, right? You're just going to teach people the choreography of the form. It's pointless. It's pointless to do the form.
It's not pointless from a health perspective. You're going to get something if you do the form smoothly.
You're going to get something, but it's not Tai Chi.
No,
it's
not Tai Chi Chuan. Not
It's
Tai
a
Chi Chuan.
dance that looks like Tai Chi, right? So if you're not doing the insides, you're not doing Tai Chi. You're doing something that looks like Tai Chi. And that's what Jean used to say all the time. Wow, they're really good looking, but it's no use.
No flavor.
You've got to learn the insides if you want to get this. So in my classes, we've started the class in the beginning of January. Here we're at the end of January. The whole last week we've been working on Peng Lu An Ji. Now, is it just superficial for them? Well, of course it is. Of course it's superficial. But at least they've got it. All right? And I can talk about it when we do something, right? So if we're doing a ping circle, right? Well, where's the Peng? What do you mean? Well, this is easy. Peng, Lu, An, Ji. That's easy. You can see that. What about when you do a ping circle?
Tell us.
Ji An, right?
I don't know.
An, Ji. What?
Where is the Peng in the ping circle?
Exactly. Where is it? Where is it? Right there. And then Lu, and then An, and then Chi.
Nice.
It's an internal energy. It doesn't have to mean that you go up or you go down. All right? It's your energy inside. Annie and I did this the other day. Put your hand up, Annie. Annie, put your hand up. All right? So we went hand to hand like that. I said, don't move your physical body. Don't move it at all. Right? Just change your energy. Push your energy into my body. Now, withdraw your energy and draw it backwards into your body. In other words, go yang, go yin. You don't have to do that with your physical body. You do it with your mind, and your energy is going to respond. And if you can really hear, right? If you can hear somebody, you can hear that. You don't have to wait for their body to move. That's what Zhang had that a lot of people didn't understand. How did Master Zhang always get you? It's because he could hear you begin to move before you began to move.
Yeah.
He heard your mind change. And these are higher level, like you were saying, these are graduate level things. It's not, he wasn't holding it back. He would mention that. He would say it, about every 5 years he would say it. So maybe if you were there for 25 years, you heard it 5 times. But, it's true. And if you just keep building the bricks, doing the foundation, all right, eventually you get to the point where you can feel that. How is it that Annie can feel that? Annie's hardly done any Tai Chi in her life, but she can feel that. It's because she's done other kinds of energy work that have allowed her to pay attention to that. So one of the things I tell my students at the beginning is, okay, everybody comes into Tai Chi and they think, Tai Chi's got this reputation. It's magical. Magic things will happen.
New Age.
It is kind of magical. Magic things will happen. But Tai Chi will not give you anything you don't already have. Anything that you get out of Tai Chi is already in you. It's just a matter of waking it up and paying attention to it. Do you remember, Michael, I think you were there that day, the day Master Zhang, every once in a while, he would lecture, he would talk. And I don't know what prompted this, although I can guess, but I just remember this clear picture of him going, pay attention, just like this, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. This is gold. Pay
Detail.
attention. I suspect what was happening is people were sort of wandering around out there. This isn't playtime. This is work. This is your apprenticeship. Here, I got an idea for you. Most of us are quote unquote disciples of Master Zhang, and I'm fine with that word. But that word in English has connotations that aren't necessarily all that good. What you really are is, you're a disciple. There's a heart connection, there's a personal connection, and all those things. So it's fine to say that. But what you're really doing is apprenticing. You're an apprentice. We used to have that system in the West. You would start at age 7 and you would apprentice for 20 years, right? And when you did your masterpiece, masters didn't do a masterpiece. Apprentices did a masterpiece. That was the piece you did to become the master, right? So, you're apprenticing with this guy. That's a very, in the West,
Malcolm.
Middle Ages, let me finish. In the Middle Ages, that was a very serious relationship. Often the apprentices actually lived with the masters. And you apprentice to become a stonemason or a woodcarver or a doctor or something like that. And we don't have that anymore in our culture. I suspect I don't have that very much anymore in China.
I agree with that, but I do believe that the discipleship.
Nobody's used to working on something for 20 years. What were you saying, Justin?
I agree with everything you said, but I believe in China, at least the ideal was it was closer to a wedding or an adoption. You were almost responsible for your teacher for the rest of his life. if you became a disciple. I mean, you had to support him, you had to do whatever. Not that that happened all the time. And that's why the great teachers only had one or two disciples. I mean, today, I mean, just like karate, you can get a black belt. It's, a 16-year-old can get a black belt in a month if he pays the right amount of money. Back in the day, to be a disciple, you really had to prove yourself, and it was a commitment much closer to marriage or adoption than just a business relationship. But I agree with you on the structure. Other than that,
there's that kind of family aspect to it, but that used to be true in the West too, in the Middle Ages. Like I said, often the apprentices lived with the master, even if he had half a dozen apprentices. So it was much more than just a business relationship. But the word disciple has religious and spiritual connotations. It also has connotations with cults and things like that make it kind of a little weird. It's just, I'm not sure it's the right word to translate exactly what is going on, but who cares? It's not a word I use anyway.
Now, Malcolm, you also have a very strong social and environmental commitment. How does that part of your Tai Chi?
Well, if you study Tai Chi seriously, what you're really studying is the interface between your mind and your energy body. It's not that your physical body and your spiritual body are not part of that. They are. You're particularly looking at that interface between the mind and the energy body. Xin Yi, all right? Without Xin Yi, there's no Tai Chi. So when you study that deeply enough, you begin to understand that stands in for your interaction with the world. It's not just about doing push hands with some guy, right? It's really about how you are in the world. And how we are in the world right now is pretty screwed up, because the world is giving us feedback. If you're in a relationship as a guy, if you're in a relationship with a woman, or another guy, doesn't matter who you're in a relationship with, you're in a relationship and they start giving you feedback, hey, this is negative, this is not good, this is painful and debilitating, and it's not good. You better listen to that, because your friend is telling you something. And it's the same that's going on in the world right now. The world is telling us something. It's not good. And we better start listening. So one of the for those of us who are old enough, like me and Justin and Annie, we can remember the movement back in the 60s and 70s.
It's still on.
Back to the land, right? We're going to go back to the land. And a lot of people did. And they're still out there on the land, right?
Easy Rider.
But we can't do that again anymore. There's too many people, not enough land. And what land there is very, very expensive. Back to the land was a way of going back to the earth and relating to it again. Annie's been watching a lot of, and I have too, a lot of videos of folks, young, middle-aged, old, who have essentially gone back to the land with different forms of small farming and things like that. That's great if you can do that, but not everybody in the world can do that. Particularly, think of the 1 million people who live in San Francisco. They can't go back to the land, right? Or people living in Seattle or Chicago or New York. They're not going to go back to the land. Well, how do they go back to the earth? One way to do it is to realize two things about the earth. One is the energy body of the earth and the energy body of a human being are structured almost exactly the same way, which is a remarkable coincidence if you stop and think about it. And so we've done a lot of some work here talking about that. And I'll just mention a couple of things. Your chongmai in the center of the body is the same as the rotational axis of the earth. The daimai around the waist is the same as what a physicist would call the moment of greatest inertial mass, speaking of the earth. The moment of greatest inertial mass, that's the equator, all right? So you've got that structure of a standing pole and a big flywheel going around it. That's the earth. It's also how a human being works, and it's how we work in Tai Chi. You think about that. Think about, can you find any other animal that has that structure? Some close to it, related to it, but none quite the same. If you're going to understand Tai Chi, you're going to need to understand your central column and your daimai around here. Oh, that's just like the earth, right? And both those structures, the earth's energy body and your energy body, are structured very similar. You could just go on and point by point by point, they're structured very much the same. To me, personally, that's really interesting. And it makes me appreciate the earth in a very different way. You know,
Hey, Malcolm, you teach a class called Your Body,
that's what I'm
Earth
talking
Body.
about. That's
What
what
is
I'm
that?
talking about. So let me finish talking about it.
All right.
But here's the earth spinning. Rotational axis, right? Equator. That's the same as what we do in Tai Chi. When you realize that there is that connection between you and the earth, to me, that's another way of making a connection with our ultimate parent, at least in this life. All right? Another way of thinking about it is, we just did this the other day. I got up a video that was a science video on the size of the universe. And it was like a half-hour video, and we watched the first 30 seconds. Because the guy said, oh, the universe is vast, it's so huge, it's almost unbelievable. And here we are living on a dead rock. Click. But that's how most people, especially in the sciences, think of the earth. It's a dead rock. And that is wrong. It's not a dead rock. The earth is literally, and I mean this literally, I mean it's not.
Hey, less kung fu, more kung fu.
All right. The
Looks
earth
like it's
is not a dead rock. It's alive. It's literally alive. Not metaphorically alive, it's literally alive. That's where life comes from. Life is what's called the fourth geosphere. And you are the earth. You are the earth, alive. Find one atom in your body. Find one atom in your body that is not from the earth. And what we are, as complex as we are, all that complexity came up out of the earth and evolved over 4 billion years. And we pay no attention to it anymore whatsoever. It's just about rape and plunder the earth.
Malcolm, I often see you as a practical Taoist. The ultimate unification for Master Feng is heaven, earth, and the human being. And I feel that so much of your teaching revolves around what Feng talks about, is the big Tao that combines the unity of heaven, earth, and man. Is that important in Tai Chi?
Well, you could say that's what Tai Chi is. Tai Chi is a form of yoga. I mean, it's not yoga, but they're similar functions. Is it a martial art? Yes, of course it's a martial art. Is it a health art? Yes, of course it's a health art. But it's also an art of self-transformation. So it's about growing up. And you grow up not through this, but through this. Tai Chi, you might say, as a health art and a martial art, is about activating your third chakra, your dantian.
Why do you say that, Malcolm?
What?
I don't understand. Why do you say that?
When we think of enlightenment, we think of this chakra, the sixth chakra.
Yeah.
The third eye opens.
Okay.
And one quote unquote becomes enlightened. And
Okay.
the popular mythology is, oh, now I'm enlightened, it's all done. But that's not what enlightenment is. That's the beginning, not the end. All right? Any one of the chakras can open. All right? Different schools of thought about this. Are the dantians the same as the chakras? Well, I just gotta keep it simple. Yes, they're the same, right? If I make the following gesture, tell me which of my chakras just opened?
Heart.
Yeah, we do that all the time.
Now we do. Now we do. It used to be, it was the upper one, the middle one, and the lower one. But the woman is the captain of the heart. And I see now Feng's daughters are doing Qigong to open the heart. And sis always did that.
There's a great little video of a little 6-year-old girl whose father comes home from Afghanistan. He's a soldier. She's in school and he's arranged.
Oh, I saw that.
He'll just show up at the school and she's sitting there and she looks up and she just goes, totally spontaneous. Right? Why is she doing that? Because her heart is opening.
We have a whole bunch of people.
It's overwhelming.
Yeah, talking about the experience. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
The same is true for
Once a month, twice a
what we
month,
call the
every
dantian, the belly chakra.
That's nice. Then you
Yeah.
get to see some people.
Yeah.
It's a matter of opening this.
Yeah.
You can imagine if you're trying to do qigong and your dantian is not opened, that's one thing.
Yeah, and the merch.
But if you're doing qigong and it is open, that's another thing.
Hopefully it's not worse.
If it's not me.
Oh my gosh.
Kai, I think you should kill your sound there. So, you know, all the work that we do has a purpose to it. And that's to open this, find an opening. That's what Master Zhang was demonstrating in a sense when he had me put my hand behind his Ming Mun and he opened his Ming Mun. The point wasn't, oh, the Ming Mun can send heat outward. That's not the point. The point was it can open or close. And it's the same for the Ming Mun's the back of the dantian, essentially. So this is a question of whether you're open or not. You know people in your life whose heart is not open. We're going through a crisis in American politics because half the people in this country don't have an open heart.
Malcolm, can I jump in just for 1 second, please?
Yes.
You can think about all the colors of the chakras you want, but the point is, you know who has what level they're on. You look at Malcolm. Remember all the wonderful gatherings we had for Master Zhang's birthday, for all the celebrations. Isn't that evidence of the open heart?
Yes.
And you think about his school, or at least up until now, was the premier temple of Master Zhang's teachings. As a teacher, he's opened up his throat chakra. And now we're listening to his insights, which are spiritual and include the universe. He's already opened up his third eye. I think the last one is when you leave. But I really suggest that my brother, Big Malcolm, has opened all his chakras. Now, it's not to say that he's not perfect. I'm not saying that at all. But you know his heart is, you know his I don't have to say anything about his Dantian, do I? But you know his heart is open. He's given so much love and he's created so many wonderful events. You know his throat chakra is open. He's been not just a teacher, but he's also invited other teachers, Michael and everybody else. His school continued the journey. And just listening to him now, you know that his spiritual, his third eye, he's seeing beyond what most of us are trying to do, which is just trying to stay safe during the COVID. But I want to say, Malcolm, are there any last words that you or your lady might have that you'd like to express before we cut this out? And let me see, is Raymond still around?
I think Raymond left.
Damn.
Raymond had to go. Last words, I would just repeat Master Zhang's last words. Do your circles. Do your circles.
Do your circles.
Fundamental stuff.
Just
Somebody,
keep doing your
Justin,
circles.
I think it was you, brought up the fact the other day when we were talking, you want to keep practicing. You want to keep learning and practicing. And I totally agree with you. And my experience now, after being for 10 years without Master Zhang, at least on a day-to-day basis, is he continues to teach me.
Yeah.
All those years of working with him continue to unfold. And he taught me as much just as a human being as he did as a Tai Chi master. And that just continues to unfold and unfold. And then the other teacher is the tradition itself. Just keep doing the fundamentals. And it really does continue to grow. Anyway, Annie, what about you?
Come on, girl.
I just want to remind everyone that he might be a wonderful Tai Chi player, but he's a grumpy old man most of the time. And don't forget that.
He's a human being,
He's
just
a human
like
being.
us.
He's a human
We
being.
can't all be spiritually elevated women like you.
But he's a very good teacher. He's been a very
She's
good
a great
teacher for
teacher.
me.
And you're
I take
you're
the
a
yin with the
wonderful
yang.
human.
That's right. You take the bad with the good. Right? It all comes together.
Right.
Yeah, and I want to say, like, for when I started to learn from Master Zhang, in the beginning of the 1 or 2 years, frequently Malcolm will be the assigned teacher to teach me. So I started my phone with people like Malcolm. I definitely appreciate that. And also for all these years, he's a wonderful, wonderful like senior brother to me. And after getting me into teaching and then to show me, and I learned a lot from him. Yeah, so really appreciate that relationship.
So I'd like to ask anybody who has close experiences with Brother Malcolm if they want to share some story or somebody. Where are our pictures, Michael?
I would.
Michael, where are our pictures of Malcolm?
Yeah.
All right, run those through. Whoever has something to say, some interesting stories, whether they're illustrative, complimentary, or funny, please raise your hand and let's look at these beautiful pictures. Go ahead. Go ahead, my brother.
Yeah,
Kevin.
I mean, I've been.
Kevin is my former student from St. Louis. He is Chinese Kung Fu. We go back a long time. I'm so proud to know him. Go ahead, Kevin. Go ahead.
I've been Sifu's disciple for almost 6 years now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And the changes.
Say it.
I can't even talk.
Speak from your heart, man.
He saved my life.
Oh.
And
That's all. Thank you.
Kevin, you
We-
are very welcome.
You have a great student there, Brother Malcolm. I mean, Kevin is one of the best guys I've ever met.
One of the
For
best
him
guys
to say
in the
these
world.
words to your great honor.
That's maybe the nicest thing about being a Tai Chi teacher is the folks who come into Tai Chi are self-selecting and they are wonderful people. Annie and I were talking about that this morning. You get so involved in the day-to-day and what you're going to do and this and that sometimes you just forget half of it is just being together. It's just being together with these really.
Yeah, there's a social element.
Yeah.
A therapeutic social element.
Yes.
Anybody else got something they want to say? Otherwise, look at these pictures. Let's go through these, Malcolm. This is where you invited Master.
Justin, Linda wants to say something. Yeah, go ahead.
Say what?
I have one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. First of all, I'm just so excited to see everybody. It's I love seeing all of Malcolm's students who I got to know over at your school. And so excited to see everyone on the call. And Malcolm, I'll contact you afterward. I have reasons to be in Portland these days, so I'm going to be catching up with you in person.
Yes.
But in any case, the story I wanted to share is a Malcolm story, if you don't mind. And that is that when we went to China, when we all took our big trip to China, and what was that, 2006, 2008, something like that? 2007. I remember, Malcolm, you were going through something of a personal crisis, trying to decide if you were prepared to go forward with your Tai Chi practice, or what was your next, where were you taking all this energy that you had? What were you going to do with it? Or were you going to go away and do something else? And you were right on that cusp. And I remember that conversation, it really stuck out because, everything you did since that point, you made a clear decision. You built a school, you created continuity, you've introduced all these people, you've heard Kevin's, comment as an example, and Matt and Rudy and other people who are on the phone who have, had the chance to work with you. All of that, I'm so glad you were at that pivot point, the fork in the road, and you made the choice you made.
Yay.
When you tell that story, I remember it now, hon. I remember that. Now, that was an interesting time. Yeah, if you're going to do Tai Chi, you got to be clear about it.
Well, to me, you can always be Tai Chi. All right, so now wait a minute. Now, what is these pictures, Malcolm?
We went and did a retreat at a retreat center up in the Sierras.
Oh.
It was like a 4-day retreat. It was a lot of fun. I think we had a really good time.
My dream is that in time, when things get a little bit better, we can do that again, all of us.
It would be nice to do.
Yeah.
I talked with Kevin about doing something on his property.
Kevin, where is your property?
I live outside of Eugene. I've got 10 acres.
Oh, I love you, man. Yeah, that would be great. I'd love to go out there, eat all the different people here can teach a workshop. We can have fun, hang out.
Yes.
So is this at your property, Kev?
No,
yeah, that's what I would like. I mean, I've got
okay.
Lots of room and places we can camp out and.
Well, that's my dream, is that even without Master Zhang being here, that we would all meet again. All right, now, you're going too fast, Mike. Go back to the other one.
Is
Now,
there any
is
news
this
of
your
Master
gold
Zhang?
medal that you won in China doing your form?
Yeah.
Wow. Gold medal in China in the first Hunyuan International Friendship Conference. He and many others demonstrated their form, and they found him gold level ability. And that's when we all had, I guess Master Zhang got us all those white uniforms. All right, next. Oh, that's our thing. All right, go ahead. Now, this was at the dinner, right? Is this the one with George Shue showed up?
I can't remember.
Yes.
Yes, it was.
This is at a restaurant, right?
Yeah.
Yes, that's
How old-
exactly right.
How old was Master Zhang then?
90.
God bless you. And Malcolm organized that, right?
I don't think that one. I think
How
that,
fun.
I did.
Oh, love you, baby. Thank you so much. That was so great of you to do that. Go on. Oh, what a group here. Oh, man, you got everybody. Wow. Look, everybody is there. There's Malcolm in blue. There's Brian next to him. There's Sherifu, Shimu, me, Tiger. There's Herb right behind it. Uncle Kai. Oh, all our old friends. We love you, man.
And
Wasn't
Mark,
that at the
yeah,
Marin
yeah.
Headlands?
When was this taken?
Wasn't that the Marin Headlands workshop?
yeah, you're right. That's what it is. The Marin Headlands Workshop.
And this
Yeah.
was
Is that-
when he was, this was when he was 80, I think.
Yeah.
Is this when Nick became a disciple and Herb became a disciple?
Yes, this is where it was because
Ah.
my student Jim and she became disciples together.
Okay.
What year
And
was
they're-
that?
2014,
Which 2000 what?
14.
Oh, beautiful. Oh, look at all those faces.
The Golden Gate Recreation Area, Fort Cronkite.
And what was great was nobody's cell worked. So all we had to do was talk to each other. Go ahead. They're going back to the other one. Look at my buddy. Look how he's enjoying the meal. He looks like the emperor. It's good to be the king. Oh, everybody loves Brother Big Malcolm. One of his pretty girls.
Yeah.
That was many years ago.
I'm just teasing. You know, I'm teasing.
Annie and I had lived together for many years, but that was the day we decided to go down and get married.
God bless you. But look at the look in their faces. They're so happy. That talk about fucking heart chakra. I mean, you don't even need to see it. It's just glowing in your face. I mean, excuse my French. Now this was
This is at the school.
this was at your school,
Yeah.
Annie and Malcolm.
Yeah.
And it was at another birthday party?
I think it's a Chinese New Year.
I think it was New Year's. Yeah.
Okay, look at all those people. Look at Malcolm sitting right next to Master Zhang and Simo. There's Michael Dorgan. Is that Brian? He looks like a kid down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's Kat right next to you. And who are those two way in the back? The guy with the beret and
Yeah.
that's
that
me.
guy.
That was me and Michael, I think. Were these all are all these people disciples? Is that what it was?
No, there's some
No.
of the students.
No,
Yeah.
not all of them.
All right,
No,
go
but the
on.
next picture, they are all
Okay.
disciple picture. This
All
just
right,
like
let's-
all the people come to it.
Let's take a look. Now that I took when we were in 2007 when Malcolm was the
disciple
only
picture.
English language person of the gold medal level.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Malcolm.
You know what?
Is proof positive.
Proof. I had never even seen that, Justin. So thank you for that.
Michael and I spent at least 3 hours last night, I don't even remember what night it was, going through everything, going through your stuff, my stuff, the Hunyuan stuff, Master Feng stuff. We wanted this to be a celebration of the wonderful human being you are that would allow other people to quickly see how much you have accomplished in your life through the arts and through being the person you are. All right, next. Now that's 2007. I believe we're at Feng's table and we're maybe raising I mean like 12th or 13th glass. That's Ron Norwood, that's Beautiful Tamara, that's Brian, and I don't know what Malcolm's thinking about, but were we toasting Master Zhang or were we just having another one? Looks like we were toasting Master Zhang. Everybody's face looks so happy.
Yep.
Yeah,
Were
we're
you
all
there,
young and
Michael?
beautiful.
I was there, but I probably the other side of the table. Yeah.
All right, go ahead. Maybe we're toasting Michael. All right, so this is with Master Zhang's daughter in the white shirt with the black pullover.
Right.
She came and did a workshop. She did a workshop on the 38 or something like that, and the 24. She is delightful. There's Uncle Kai on the outside. There's, it's good to be the king. There's big guy Malcolm, and right next to Michael Dorgan. And there's me and my buddy, Michael Shea. And that's Jared, right?
Yeah, Jared. Yeah.
I want to interview him sometime. All right, go ahead. Who am I missing? I didn't mean to miss anybody out.
No, there's Matt.
All right, go ahead.
Hamza.
Now, this is what I was thinking about this. This is your lineage, but actually, I do believe that underneath Chen Fa should be Chen Xiaokuai and Feng. And then the next level is Zhang and then you. You know, Zhang is surely, I really don't believe that we're Hunyuan, to tell you the truth. We are Hunyuan with a twist. We got all that Chen Xiaokuai, all that Qinghua stuff. I really feel that that should be reorganized, Malcolm, so that Zhang comes down under both Feng and Chen Xiaokuai, and then you.
Mm-hmm. Well, I agree about Chen Xiaokuai, but my skills with word are pretty primitive, so that's what I could manage.
Yeah, but if you look at Master Zhang, you can't just say he's Hunyuan.
Websites is.
Kevin, I see you're drinking. Here's one to you.
I'm not trying to speak to experienced people. I'm speaking to people who know nothing whatsoever about Tai Chi.
We love you, man, and we're gonna speak about you. You're not gonna speak about yourself. We're gonna honor you. So get another guy up there. You deserve it. Next.
Okay.
Oh, now this is now look. This is Malcolm's class. If you want to know anything, go to sfhunyuan.com. Even though he's changed he's going to have another website, I guess, which is a different title. You'll always be okay if you go to SF Hunyuan. There's some great stuff on there. There's a transcribed interview of Feng. There's videotapes. I want to ask you about one videotape, Master Malcolm. The Chinese guy, the Japanese Zen monk. Who is he?
His name is his last name is Yamaguchi. I don't remember his first name.
How did you run into him?
He's a Zen master. He's a student of Master Feng's.
Where is he located?
In Japan. I'm not sure where.
I urge you guys to take a look at this.
The videos. He has several videos up.
I urge you to take a look at this master.
That particular video he did as a tribute to Master Feng after he passed. And
oh my God.
It's very beautiful.
I urge all of you to go look at that right away. It's on Malcolm's website, sfhunyuan.com. And I think it's the last one. It's a video. You'll recognize he's a heavy set. It looks like Michael in his Zen garb, a heavy set guy with, but his form is brilliant. It's so deep. Like Malcolm was talking, there's a spiritual aspect as well. Now this is the video. This is the picture of all the disciples. Is that right?
That's correct.
Looks like it. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's so interesting. There's Michael Dorgan. It's funny, I'm the one who turned Michael Dorgan on to Master Feng, I think. I knew him before 1981. And then Kat was the first one to say, hey, how come women can't be disciples? I love these guys. Everybody, and okay, that's not everybody, Michael.
This is a disciple in that meeting, yeah.
It was what?
The disciple in that meeting, in that gathering, yeah. So it's not all the disciples.
This was a birthday party, I think.
New Year party.
Where is this? Does anybody know?
It's in Malcolm's place.
Yeah, it's in Malcolm's place.
Studio.
2018 Chinese New Year's, February, late February.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, next. That's a great picture. We already discussed that. That is a brilliant picture, a really, truly brilliant picture.
Look, the Master's new translation and Malcolm's listening. Yeah.
Now that's all right. So that's the space they had. They had 2 rooms. Michael, tell us about the layout and what was going on in there. Michael, share.
I think this is welcome. This is your school, right? At one time.
This is not our school. This is
What?
This is at UCSF.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I didn't know that.
This is the Mission Bay a dance studio, which we used for Tai Chi. And it was a very small class that day. Normally there'd be almost 30 people in there. So it was a lot of fun. I taught there for like 4 years or so.
Wow.
That was one of the best attended classes that you had there, Malcolm. It was these people there they were dedicated. They came for years.
They were. They came every week for 4 years, and
were they students?
Yes. Well, no, they're not my personal students. They are students in that setting only. But they were very dedicated, and unlike most, I've never seen any gym or recreation center where you get the same students over and over. Because I didn't really want to teach at a place like that because you're always starting at the beginning every week.
Yeah.
But these guys were really steady, and they came for 4 years. And even today, Matt Hong, one of my students, still teaches them.
Wow.
Yeah, they're still doing
it's all online now. Yeah.
Right. And that's a beautiful picture you, Mr. Zhang.
Oh, I remember that moment. Yeah.
Where was it?
That's at our studio. That was during during the last.
The last party, I mean, the year the birth New Year party, we must come back. Yeah.
We had some good times. Thank you. This shit would have never, this stuff would have never happened, but for, wait a minute, go back.
Yeah, that picture was me and Master Zhang, and I just told him that I was Malcolm's disciple.
Look at that look on his face. You deserve it. No, that makes you his grandson.
Can I jump in and say, because I have to leave and say hi and bye to everyone, but I just wanted to ask, because I came in late, was there an update on Master Zhang?
Kai?
Yeah, he has the problem with the leg, the left and the right. So he has to use a walker to walk, but his upper body is still very flexible. And he said he's doing the Tai Chi bound every single day, doing Qigong, but sitting exercise. So
was there something else he said, Kai?
Huh?
Was there something else he hinted at?
Well, he really wants to come back for another time. So as soon as he's allowed to travel because of this virus, and as soon as it's over, he's coming back for sure.
I wish I was younger. I'd say we should all go there.
Yeah, but
we have to tell that story sometime, Kai. All right, so that's okay. There we go. Nice. Another pretty girl. Nice, Malcolm. This was after, I'm guessing it was after Fung got here and taught us the 32?
I think so, yeah. That's when we were practicing, obviously, by the baseball fields. They were redoing the music concourse, so for 3 or 4 years we practiced by the baseball fields.
Okay. What else we got? Who's that guy with his hand wrapped around Malcolm? Malcolm's looking at me like, who is this guy?
So this is the last picture we have.
That's a great picture. I like that a lot. That's me. C'est moi, whatever. All right. Anybody got more stuff to talk about? I'm gonna ask Malcolm and Michael to please, now that we've taped it, post it so that we can all look at it again and again. And Malcolm, thanks so much. Keep us updated on everything you're doing. Don't hang up, but we're going to close out this. In other words, then I want to talk about something else. I also want to thank Malcolm and his lady. You guys were so kind to throw in a little something for Nick's funeral and stuff like that. Thank you so much. That was my friend. All right, what else? Anything? But guys, speak now.
Yeah, I
Well,
got to say a couple words. Kind of hard to follow up after Kevin about saving his life, but you know, I have to thank Malcolm and well, Michael and well, everyone actually in the community for kind of helping me, you know, make a life with Tai Chi. You know, I still continue to teach UCSF and that kind of thing, so it's an honor for me to keep that going.
Where's your face? I can't see you.
Oh,
When we stop.
well, anyway, I just want to thank you, Malcolm. There are breakthroughs every day I take your class, so I appreciate it.
Keep up the good work. Honor your teacher. That's the best thing you can do. Honor your teacher by being the best you can be. And welcome to the family. And now you're blood, bro. You're part of the gang. Thank you.
Whether or not, Matt, you're part of the gang.
You got some money?
I've already got joint locked in, you know.
Well, keep in touch and stay with us. I want to continue to do this. What else are you going to do? It's COVID time, man. Let's keep this stuff going.
Sure.
All right. So this is the official, all right, cut. But now I want to continue our discussion. What I want to do, and I've asked Malcolm about this, Big Daddy Malcolm. I want to do a few more interviews. I definitely want to do Brian. I'm not going to do anything until I get Brian. Maybe even Charlton and Jared. But after that, even during that, and anybody can host this